like literally I have given so many interviews. I have given interviews in Amazon, I have given interviews in Tesla, I have given interviews in Johnson & Johnson, then TikTok, then BCG. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Rutuja and you're watching me on YouTube. So by looking at the title of the screen, you would have understood that what this video is about. So this video is about resumes, job portals, and how to do applications and use this strategy. So I'm going to divide this video in 7 different parts in which you would understand how your resume should be and what strategy you should apply to do job applications, and also how can you do cold emails to different recruiters, and also find how to find a referral online on LinkedIn and or different platforms, and how your resume should be, because that's important. So there's something wrong with my light. If you see, when I come front it has good lighting, but when I go back I don't know why I'm getting dark. So I've bought these 2 lights you might have seen in the previous short or reel, but I don't know how to use them. So if someone of you who knows how to use such lights, how to keep my room and what corner should I sit and shoot, please help me out, because I am so confused. From last 8 months I'm figuring out, but I was not here, I was traveling and I could not make YouTube videos, and I'm so sorry about that. Many of you but connected me on Instagram and on LinkedIn, and I have helped a lot of you. I cannot help all of them, but I have helped a lot of you. Like if there were 10 messages, I have given reply to 8 of them for sure. And I found out and I met few of my followers on Garba night, and I'm so thankful that you came across to me and started talking to me. It was so nice. And it gives me inspiration to put such videos and to put content on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, please go check out. This is my page, follow me. I make content on different things, and my Instagram is completely opposite than what I post here. But I'm planning to make one more YouTube channel for some lifestyle updates and everything, but not on this channel because this is for education purposes. So thank you for waiting and for keeping me subscribed, or you keeping subscribed to my YouTube channel, because I think from a year now I have not posted anything, and many of you have texted me like post about this, post about that, but I promise I would post content regularly, because you know life is very harsh here. My co-op was going on, I was traveling, and there then roommate dramas, and then I went to India, I came back, I met my parents, I did my birthday there. So I am restarting my life and trying to get everything on scheduled. So let's start today's video and keep watching. Okay, very first thing we are going to talk about is resumes, because this is very basic, this is very much needed, and also it is a document which are going to put you in front of a recruiter, and it is very important. Okay, so what your co-op resume should be. So I'll tell you, your internship and co-op resume is much different than what you apply for full time. So right now, if you are in your co-op phase, these are the guidelines you must need to follow. Okay, first part is your resume should be of 1 page. So I'm gonna put few things here if I may able to. So very first thing is your resume should be of 1 page. Your resume should have your education at the top. So first thing on your resume would be your name, your email ID, your LinkedIn ID, your phone number, and your address. Yes, I have seen a lot of people not putting the location they are living currently right now. It is really wrong for you to not put that with your zip code. For example, there is a Boston company which is hiring people and they want to hire people only from Boston. How would they know that you are locating in Boston? So you need to put that there, like I am in Boston. It is important to put put location, and also it is professionally needed, and it is also a plus thing if you want to attract the companies which are there nearby. They are going to attract you more if they want to get in that, but if they want a candidate from that particular state. Okay, then comes your summary is completely optional for co-op, and I would say don't add it. It is going to take much space. Instead of that summary, you can add extra project. That is more important. Summary is not that important for co-ops and internships, because your resume is going to speak for yourself. Instead, if you want to add a summary, you add a cover letter where you can add a small paragraph about yourself. Recruiters will go and read that instead of wasting a paragraph in your resume. But if you if you have little bit space left and there is an empty space on your resume must not have an empty space. Then you can add this to fill that space. You can add a summary. Then comes your college and your education, like your most like recent education, and then your degree. For your co-op, your education should come on the top, and when you are applying for full time, it's okay to bring your education down. But for your co-op and internship, your education should be first. Then your why? Because companies want to know that you are in your you are in college currently, and that is your most recent thing. So in resume, everything goes in reverse chronological order. So the most recent thing would come first, and your older thing will come down. So as your most recent thing, your education is your most recent thing. As you are currently graduating or you're currently pursuing that masters, it should come first. Then comes your work experience. You can put as much as work experience you want. We will come to that work experience page again. And then come your projects, and then come your technical skills. You can swap it out. You can put technical skills first and then your project at the last, but it is always mandatory, or it is recommended, to put your work experience just below your education. Okay, so this is a format of resume. So second thing is, let me tell you, your resume is not your biography. The resume is not your story. A resume is a business proposal. You are giving it to the recruiter or to the company. So it should not have any faults. Zero faults. Because think it as way, your one fault and you're gonna get a reject. Think it in a way that HRs are sitting to count your faults, and based on that faults they are gonna reject you. Think it at that way. It's not like that, but just think it at that way, because you have to submit a perfect resume, a perfect professional document. Why? Because from that document, your organizational skills are gonna be viewed by your recruiter, and that is needed in the US. Not in the US, but just everywhere around the globe. Okay, so this question arises is, I have 8 years of work experience, so everything is not coming on one page. Or I am freshers, I don't have work experience, what should I put on work experience? Or I have 1 year of work experience, but I am not able to justify the bullets which are there on the job description. These are all the questions which arises by the candidate, by the fresher who are making the resume first. So let me tell you, your resume cannot exceed from one page. So even if you have 10 years of experience, 8 years of experience, 5 years of experience, whatever, it should be on that one page. Okay, so your resume must have the bullets which are there on the job descriptions. So for example, you have done 10 different things in the company, but the resume is only asking 4 of them. Then you have to remove this 6 bullets and put only those 4 bullets. It's like that. It's as simple as that. Okay, so this is one thing you should do. And your most recent work experience should match with the bullets. Okay, or should be in positive side of that bullets, that yes, they should complement each other. Okay, for example, application is like the job portal is asking that you should know Python or ETL jobs, or you should know SQL, and you have you have worked in 3 companies, then put it in your first experience, and then in your second and third experience you can just put the summary of what you did. Okay, your first experience bullets can go up to 5 bullets, and your second and third year experience is like 5 4 3. It's like that. Keep reducing the bullets. It's like that, as simple as that. Okay, if you are fresher and if you have no experience, then you know what you should put? Your volunteering experience. If you have worked in any committee, in your college committee, there are a lot of committees in India. If you have done any volunteering, if you have been anywhere, like if there are events in your building and if you have been an organizer in that building, or you have done anything, that would come in your work experience. The work experience thing for freshers is not like that it should be a proper job, like you're getting paid for that. It can be a volunteering experience as well. So that all things, if you were a president, if you were a marketing head, or if you were just a volunteer or anything in your college committee, you can put there as well. That can be your work experience. Then let's come to project. Maximum project you can put in your resume is 5, and minimum like projects you can put in your resume are 3 for co-op. And for internship, for full-time, it's completely different. But for co-op, maximum projects is 5, minimum is 3. All these projects should, fulfill the bullets on the job description. For example, there is a job description, it is asking Python, it is asking SQL, and it is also asking project management skill. You know what your project should be? One should be on Python and machine learning. Second should be on SQL, relational data, normalizing the data. How did you use the database? What kind of queries did you learn? What did your database had? And what did your model work on? That could be your second project. Third project would, if it is asking you about management skills or organizational skills, you can put Tableau and Power BI. You can say that I created different dashboards on Tableau or Power BI. I gave presentation. I did this organizational skills, and I created I created Excel. I created PPT. I managed people here and everything, that on that third project. Okay, if you want to put more project, you can emphasize on machine learning, AI, Gen AI, software development, whatever things you are. Now this is for technical projects. What applications you are going to use to apply for jobs, for co-ops, for internships, or these things. Okay, first thing is, your Northeastern is actually going to give you a portal called NU Works. It would have a lot of companies which are in tie-ups or in good books. I don't know if they are in tie-up, but they are in good books with Northeastern. And Northeastern, they will put their job ads on Northeastern portal, and you are going to upload your resume there. And if recruiters like you, they can hire it from you. That is one portal, which is actually an advantage for Northeastern students, because not a lot of colleges give that. Only Northeastern has that. Or I don't know if other colleges has that. I think they don't, but I may be wrong if they have started it or whatsoever. But Northeastern does that. They have a very, very good co-op program. Okay. Second thing is, you can do it from LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn is my favorite. Most of the interviews I got it from LinkedIn. Okay, the interviews which, like, literally I have given so many interviews. I have given interviews in Amazon, I have given interviews in Tesla, I have given interviews in Johnson & Johnson. And I have given like 5 different interviews in Johnson & Johnson, then TikTok, then BCG, and Prime Medicine, which I actually worked in the company. Apple, I have given interviews in all these companies, and I am actually going to create a different video for each of the company, that how I gave interviews in all these companies. Okay, so all these interviews which I got from these companies, all those applications I did it from the career portal. Sometimes I got those jobs on LinkedIn. So how LinkedIn works, when you go on LinkedIn, you would find a job. You are going to search and then you're going to find a job. You can click on apply and it will direct you to the company's career portal. When it gets directed to the company's career portal, you have to create an account there on the career portal. It's very easy. Just put your name, your email ID, your password, and your account is created. Some companies career portal, they don't even ask you to create an account. They'll just ask you to fill a form, submit it, and you're done. Okay, so that is the thing. So you know what I do? I used to turn on alerts in that thing. So whenever I'm applying for any position, I will turn on alerts. So when any position comes new in that company, then I get automatic email. Like for example, I'm applying for data science jobs, and if there is a new data science internship coming in that company, that email will come to me on my Outlook, and I would check it and I would go and apply to that job again. So you know why this work as an advantage? What if there are 1,000 students and from that 1,000 students only 5 of them have turned on that job alert? Then you are the first person to apply in that job alert, because when a job comes in any career portal, it takes 1 hour to come on the LinkedIn, or that is what I have felt like, because I have seen like I am getting this job alerts on my email early than my LinkedIn application. Okay, so let's that is one good strategy. So first thing is AnyWork, second is LinkedIn, and third is the actual company's website. Okay, so these are the 3 things I use. There are a lot of other things like Indeed and Handshake. I never use those. I never used Indeed. I never used Handshake, but I would recommend you all to do that, because it took me 2-3 cycles to find a co-op. I got a co-op on my 3rd cycle, so I don't want you to be in that stage. I started giving interviews on my 1st cycle itself, but for you, if you want to be as quicker as possible, you can start using these applications as well. Okay, the other thing is, should I apply a lot? Like, do numbers matter or quality matters? Do quantity matters or quality matters? So I would say quality matters. I think I have not applied more than 300 job applications in my co-op. Like, I used to do 50 and I used to get an interview, then other 50 interview, and I got like 5 different interviews in just 1 month by just doing 10 to 15 applications or 20 applications, because I posted quality applications. You know, there would be people who would come and tell you that a company gets 1,000 applications. You should be lucky that at least they are opening it. You don't know if they are even opening it or not, so why to keep tailoring the resume? Just upload it the way you are. That is the most stupid, or most worst thing ever anyone can tell you. Because you know why? They want you not to tailor and just upload your bullshit resume there, which doesn't even match with your job description. These people, even though they are your friends or they are your honest friends, if they are telling you, first thing, if they are honestly telling you, they are stupid. They are themselves stupid. And second thing, if they are telling you, they are actually smart, that they want to remove competition. That's the reason they are telling you this. But you should always tailor your resume as per your job description, because not all job descriptions are same. If you're applying for data science, they would ask machine learning, they would ask high quality Python. They wouldn't ask much SQL, they wouldn't ask Tableau, Power BI. But if you're applying for data analytics, they would ask Tableau, they would ask Power BI, they would ask high level of SQL and then Python. They wouldn't ask you much about machine learning. If you're applying to data engineering, they would ask you about ETL jobs, like Azure, AWS, or Python ETL, or SQL ETL, or warehouse building. Everything they're going to ask in your data engineering. These all 3 roles are completely different. If you're applying for SDE, if you're from computer science background, there is software development job. They would ask you about Docker, they would ask you about Locker, they would ask you about Java, SQL, and a lot of things. And if you're applying for web development, if it is front-end development, they are going to ask you HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap. If you're applying for backend development, they are going to ask you a strong level of Java, strong level of SQL. if you're applying for full web development, they would expect this both front end and back end together. And in the job application, how is this web development, how is this SDE gonna merge and you're gonna apply? Because when it comes to front end, when it comes to back end, or then when it comes to full stack, or when it comes to SDE also, the job application is always going to see software engineering interns. You have to read below and understand what exactly this job is about. So tailoring is important. Just remember this. Okay. Then other thing is just applying for jobs enough? No, they are not. You have to look for referrals. So I'll tell you about my personal experience. I didn't got any referrals. All these things which I got as an interview, there were all zero referrals. Sometimes it was about like I'm applying very late. Sometimes it is like I'm applying like in first 5 minutes. It's all luck. But if you are someone, if you're getting a strong referral from a company, use that referral. Okay, but I would not suggest you to only sit back to get a referral. I have seen that people, like, there is a job application coming in Amazon just in 2 minutes and you found it. You will start searching for referrals, and to search that referral, it's going to take 8 hours, 9 hours. There's no one, if you text and they're going to give you a referrals like immediately, it's not gonna happen. You're wasting your 8 hours, and in those 8 hours, thousands of people have already posted. I've already applied to that job, and your resume is just gonna get hacked. If you're applying a job in first, 100 applications, even if you don't have referral, it is going to get viewed. So whenever you see a job and it's just like 15 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago or 1 hour ago, just apply it without referral. But if you're applying very late, like already it has 7 days passed or 8 days passed, then you can go and ask for referral and then apply it, so that at least it will cancel this pull and bring your resume upwards. Because there are 3 different pulls. One pool is where candidates apply from the portal. Second pool is through referrals, and third pool is through Northeastern NU Works. Okay, in all this pool, you should be on the higher level. This is how you should apply and look for referrals. Now, what kind of messages you should send for referrals? See down below, and you're going to get that document, or I'm actually and everything, or else I'll tell you at the end of the video like how to get that document, because there would be steps to get that document as well. Okay. A key point I want to tell you about recruiters: they don't sit and keep reading your resume. They just scan your resume in just like 3 seconds or 6 seconds. If they find what they want, then they are going to keep reading the resume, or it's like just passed. So make sure your resume is clean. All the things which you want to show in the resume are seen. So this one strategy I used to use, that I used to bold those keywords. Like if there's Python, I will bold Python. I'll bold ETL. I'll bold cross-functional. All these things I'll bold, so that in 6 seconds the interviewer, like the recruiter, can view it, and if they find it relevant, they would, select me for an interview. It's like that. So that is one key thing you all can do. Like, keep your resume clean, keep your document clean, keep it in synchronized way. There shouldn't be any errors in that document. No spelling mistakes, no date mistakes. There are people who write like November NOV, December DEC, and they write September SEPT. Here are 4 letters, here are 3. This is also an error. Okay, either you write entire November, either you write entire September, or you write NOV or SEP. Okay, some people write NOV 25 and then they write September SEP 2025. This is also an error. Either you write 2025 or you write 25. I would recommend write entire 2025, 2019, 2018, whatever it is. Okay. There is other thing you should put on your resume when it in the education section. Okay. There are a lot of jobs. There are a lot of different profiles, and I know a person would apply for 3 different people. If you are from data science or data analytics, you are going to apply for data engineering, data science, business analytics, data analytics. If you are from computer science, you're going to apply for SDE roles, web development, full stack development, and different roles. If you're from management, you're engineering management or MSIs, you're going to apply for product management, project management, supply chain management, material planner, and there are a lot of things. So but you cannot tell the recruiter that your academic course aligns with this courses or with this job application. So you know what you're going to do is you're going to put your you know your degree, for example masters in data science, and if the job asks artificial intelligence and everything, you're going to put only the subject courses name as artificial intelligence. When when you are from data analytics and you want to do data science job, this will clash. Data analytics would clash in data science, but you can write in the courses, like I've actually done those courses like introduction to data science, or neural networks, deep learning, like that, NLPs, like that. If you have actually done it, you can write, and the recruiter would feel even her degree is data analytics or his degree is data analytics, he has done this subjects and he or she is capable enough. So you can just use those things in that particular education section and the course section. This is something which is really helpful and can be a mandate. Okay, so that was all about today's video, and I hope you got all the insight I was trying to give you all. And if there are any other particular topics you would want to know about me and like want me to make a video about it, you can put it below in the comment section. How to get a document, I would put a link below on the of that document, like how you can access that document, and you can go over there, read that particular PDF and follow the steps, and you would get that document. Till the time, you can like this video, share it with your friends if it was helpful, subscribe to my channel, and keep suggesting me new topics below. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on LinkedIn, and if you have any questions, you can connect me on LinkedIn and send me messages on LinkedIn, and I would reply you all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye everyone.